Hey everyone, how's it going? So I need to fix some of the tags on the stream, but I hope you. Let me make sure that it's working. Just want to make sure that I'm not muted. I have this thing now where I'm muted half of the time. So I'm not muted, so that's good. So I need to figure out change some of the labels for the stream because I want to make sure that we have the right labels, the right tags. So I just need to update some of the tags. Okay, we're just missing one. So every time we do the gaming stream, I lose most of my tag. So for the stream, for the coding stream, so I have to re-add it back. So I think I got all of them. Cool. So what we're going to be working on today, we are going to be continuing. So Friday, we were working on adding. This doesn't look right. Why doesn't it look right? It looks the monitor is wrong. So let's see what we can figure out. Nope, that is my current monitor. Oh, this monitor is not the right one. Oh, there we go. Cool. So what we're going to be working on today is adding commands, continue adding commands to our chatbot. So we have it already done. It's just a very simple implementation that we did a while back. So what we're going to do today is just continue cleaning up that code and refactoring it and making sure that it's clean, and we could handle adding commands from we could add moderators could add commands from the stream chat, or they could add it via or we could just add it to a file. So that's kind of what we're going to be working on today. So on Friday we left off just making some changes to like the commands themselves. So we created a new module for our Go project called commands, and here is where we have all the commands. What we were doing Friday was adding tests to it to make sure that it works correctly. So I just want to make sure that we left off in a good place, and yeah, so that's kind of what we're going to be doing. Okay, yeah, so we don't need, so Friday we ended up just figuring out that we don't need any of this setup, and we just needed a way for us to test the command. So we're parsing the command, and then what do I want to do? Oh, I wanted to then from the server, so we were going to write to the server, and whatever the command was returned, let's see where we left off. Yeah, so we were then going to write to the server. We were going to find the command that the person was doing. If we find one, then we parse it. So here we will parse it. Then we check if it's greater than 1. We're going to slice our slice by like starting at 1, and then we want everything else. And then we were going to run the action. So whatever the action for our command was going to be run. In our case, the actions are then, we have only 2 actions now. So we have one that returns all the commands. And then we have another action that just takes a command from a file. And then based on that command, it just sends it back. So that is one. So now we just need to test that our tests are working correctly. So right now we're not really testing anything. I just want to run it and see if it works correctly. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing. Cool. So it cannot find the command, so we need to figure out why it couldn't find the command. Not sure what I did weirdly here. So it's saying that it cannot find it. Cool. It looks like we have a new follower. Oh, sorry. I thought you were following us already. Well, welcome back. Cool. Okay. So this is not working correctly. Oh, cool. Nice, yeah. Thank you for that. Okay, so we just need to figure out why it's not working correctly. So I'm just gonna print the content of our map. So it does have the commands one. So maybe I spelled it incorrectly somewhere here. Nope, looks correct. So let's see what we're doing weird. So I wonder if we're missing like extra spaces or something like that. Okay. Okay. So is there? So I wonder if we are. No, that's no. What? So we're doing something weird when we're adding the commands. So commands. Huh. Maybe we are parsing extra stuff. Yeah. So wonder if I have to trim it. Okay, so this was something I left off from Friday, was that for some reason the command is not being found correctly inside of our map. So it might be that we're taking a bit too much, like there's extra string that we have. Yeah, no. Oh, I know what. I don't know why. So, might be a type issue. But if it was a type issue, it wouldn't let me do it. So commands. So I wonder if it's because of the conversion that I'm doing. We could just test it out by not splitting. We could just do command and then here we just add it. Here. Then we could try it out. Wait, what is going on? So we have commands, which is what we want. So I'm gonna just ignore all of this for now. Well, not that part. I'm gonna just ignore this here and just do commands. Okay, so that works. So it's something to do with our parsing. So I think might have to convert message. What is message? Well, message is what we're getting back. What we're expecting. Wait, I might have spelled it wrong. That might be the issue. Yeah, that's what. what I did. So just want to make sure that this is correct. Yeah, our test data has extra m's, and that's why it's not working. Okay, so now that we know that, and that is fixed, we change this back. And we're missing an and. Okay, so it was pretty much failing because I had a typo in the test data. Okay, that is the error that we're expecting. The error is mostly because we haven't started our client. So we start our client here. What we got? Okay, now the main issue that we have is that okay, so our server is running. Hey, SSP, yeah, same. There is like times like I just get stuck for a typo. It takes me like at least 10 minutes to figure out what is going on. Okay, so here. Oh, I made you a moderator. So you ended up losing your VIP status, but now you're a moderator since you're being here now. Okay. Cool. So now we have an empty pointer. Because we're doing something that we're not supposed to be doing. Okay, it's because our invalid token. Why is it invalid? So the thing that's happening now is the client is returning a comment saying, hey, here is all the messages, but it doesn't like the token itself. So I wonder if I'm formatting it incorrectly. That might be the case because I think it's a new one that we just added. So yeah, so if you're a moderator, you cannot have the VIP title. So okay, so we are here and we need to make sure that this one works correctly. Okay. No, this is the wrong one because we want to be able to send it. So there's okay, so this is the one that is handling sending. So we might have to go back and see how we're sending messages. So we're using this one to send messages, so it's pretty hard coded. So we can see how we send private messages. So this one's the one that handling commands too. Okay, so what are we doing wrong? Let's see how this message looks like. Okay. Cool. Oh, the channel is missing. That is why. So because we're not adding the channel, it's just failing. So we should add the channel to it. So the channel is missing. Since the channel is missing, we're not able to do anything else. And the reason why the channel is missing is because we don't need it in some cases. So we need to figure out a way to add the channel to it. So let's see, send message. Okay, so here we could just join it. We did add this space though. Send. So send doesn't add the space. So this is how it looks. So we will have to do something like, wait, that looks right, but so t.com channel. So here we have the channel name, and then we have a space, and then we have the message, which is kind of what we need in our case. Okay. Oops. I don't know. Last time I read about using the plus signs, it was a performance issue. So I don't use it at all. So I usually stick with just using the some of the standard libraries to do the joining for me. If not, I use a buffer to just create array, which is this. What this is doing is pretty much that. Okay, so still failing. What is missing? Because of valid token. So it's reading the whole thing as a token. So did I spell private message wrong? That might be the next thing. Again, our client should be able to parse this because we're sending a private message, and that's kind of what we're getting back is that just a private that information. So we need to go back to our send method. Okay, so our send, we just need to make sure, because we're not using it anywhere else, right? This is the first time we use send. Sorry, we use private message, so it might be just a typo somewhere. So where am I? Okay, so we are gonna go back to our parser, no, scanner, tokens, and see how it's written. So I wonder if it's something that we're doing here. Again, we haven't used this one before. So join works. The one that is giving us a hard time is private message, because he doesn't know how to handle it. So, but he should be able to handle it. And the error is coming from our scanner. Scanner. So we just need to find like what is the weird things happening, because the thing that's happening right now is like it's fully parsing it, which it shouldn't be doing. And we were able to parse private messages already, so I'm not sure what the issue might be. It could also be how our server is doing it, right? It could be like the way that might be it. It could be that the server itself is mishandling it. So this is how the parser works. This is what the parsing is happening. So it might be something to do with the lines themselves. So it could just be like a weird thing that we're doing. So this is not going through the Twitch chat server. Sorry, this is not going directly to Twitch. This is going to our Mac test server. Sorry. So our Mac test server is the one that is returning this error because it doesn't know how to parse it. So it might be that we're missing information somewhere. Maybe the best way is to look at how. Oh, I know what it is. So no, it's there. So I have a linter. I'm using a linter already in my editor. I haven't tried running it myself. Oh, I see. Yeah, that might be the case in some places. This is on purpose though. This is done on purpose because this is a it doesn't know what to do with this. It doesn't know how to parse it. So this error that's happening right now is mostly done on purpose on the scanner because it doesn't know how to parse the parse is messed up for that message. And it's something that I'm doing with the structure in the message itself. Oops. So for context, this is where the error is happening. Somewhere in here. Yeah, this is where it's happening. So this is throwing the error here. And this is what is parsing the print message. Wait. That's the right one. No. Where is the R? P. Okay. So private message is being handled here. So I wonder if this case is being triggered at all. And again, it's just me. It's most likely just me doing some weird stuff when it comes to running the passing the so my tests, the test data that I'm passing to the server, I'm returning to the server, it might not know how to handle it. So it's getting the right string. So here, and the issue, I think the main issue is like it's not returning the same information that it's expecting. So this is R. We now in here. Oh, I know why. I know what it is. Okay. So we are there. So it parses it correctly. It knows that token. The issue is, what is the issue? So we have a space. So most likely it doesn't know what to do with that space. Wait, is there a space? Again, I'm doing some wonky stuff because I'm echoing now the message back. Oh, I see. Oh, I see the issue. So the issue here is that there is no colon here. So I need to check if when we talk to the Twitch client, we're passing a colon. Again, this is my Mac data, so I'm the one that messed it up. So because the private data that I'm sending, sorry, the message that I'm sending is not valid, it's panicking, which is what I would expect. Because I am not doing, like, the parser itself is just meant to parse the message from the Twitch server. Yeah. So when I need to have a colon for the message itself, which is what I'm missing and why it's failing hard. And the failing hard is just pretty much done on purpose at this point. Oh, it's not here. It's in our C client. So we need to make some changes here. So the next thing we need to do is just add a colon here. And we should be able to run it now. I should remove that print statement. So I made some changes to the scanner that I want to revert. Okay. So here we just do go test, and we shouldn't get an error back. Okay. Let's see. So now the thing, this is something I didn't test against the server, but the way that the command is doing it, okay, yeah, so this is the way he's sending it. So I don't think this is valid at all. So what I'm doing is that I'm creating I don't need this here. So I have the hey message. Maybe I should just send them separate. Yeah, let's do that. What I was trying to do was like send all the messages all together. So I'm just gonna move the hey message here. Send that by itself. If error. Okay. Okay. So we are gonna send that one first. Then here, each one of them will have its own. So we don't need to send a hey message. So so what I was trying to do was like send a hey message and then send all the messages, which is wrong. I'm only be able to send one message at a time. Yeah. So this is kind of what we want, right? We want the bot itself to send a message saying, hey there, hey, here are a list of commands. Then we get our first command, and then we get our second command. And then inside of, let's see if that worked. Okay, and then in our test, I don't know why I closed it, but inside our test, we can then expect the messages. So we should expect 2 messages from here. I guess we're only reading 1. Why are we only reading 1? I wonder if the connection was close. Yeah, that might be it, which is a bad thing. So that means that our server can only get 1. Ooh, maybe. Am I buffering these things? Okay, so we are back here. And we're buffering. Maybe we should just block here for a bit and see if we could get the right messages. Yeah, it's gonna block. So what I'm expecting is to see the second one being added to the channel, but it's not being added to the channel. So I just have to go back and figure out why it's not being added to the channel. And this is very helpful because we're going back and testing our plan. So we're parsing the messages, right? And we want to make sure that it works correctly. So our goal is to just go through this and see if there's any issues that we're having. So we are getting here. It's being parsed correctly, I believe. So we should just run it here, see if we get the same messages. Yep, and then we are then getting all the badges, and then we're lacking because we're trying to get, we have a cache of users, so we're gonna just add the user to the cache if the person has been there before, because we are caching the information for that user, so we don't make a lot of requests to the Twitch API. And then when we get the message, we just send that to our channel. So in our channel, which you see two of them here, okay, so we're getting two. So we should be able to get the messages twice. So I'm not sure why it's blocking. Well, why we are only seeing once. So that means like our parser is getting the right information from our server. Okay, so there's, why am I seeing three? Oh, it's because I'm printing the last one. Oh wait, no, I am only seeing two. Why am I only seeing two? Oh, thank you for the Hydrate SSP. Okay. So we're only getting one message from our server, and I think this is our Mac server doing some weird stuff, or I'm doing some weird stuff to be able to test this. So our Mac server is in the utilities, Mac server. I think it closes the connection. Yeah, so I think it's closing the connection, and then when we try to send again, because we're probably ignoring an error, it's not throwing an error. So maybe in this case, let's see if bad things happen if I remove the online. I see you're gonna block. I just want to make sure that we're returning. So the goal is to be able to, we're sending at least 4 messages to our server, so we should be able to see that. This here should be printed 4 times. What we're doing is just like echoing, so we are putting something to our server, and then we are returning it back. Where's it at? Get rid of this. Kind of weird. I was expecting it to trigger. Maybe we're not connecting to our Mac server, and no, I think we are. Okay, so that's there. Okay, so it is using our Mac server. Now we just need to figure out. Okay. I would expect this to work. Okay, that makes sense. But then what is going on here then? So we're in here. Okay, so that one's working now. So, okay. So the way it works is that if the server response is empty in our Mac server, we then just copy whatever the client whatever the client sends us, we are just gonna send it back to the client. So that's kind of what we're seeing. Oh, maybe it's a return. No, the return belongs there. So the issue that's happening is that, so we return here. It's one connection. So that one connection is, so we're second connections. We have one connection and then we pass that information. So it could be how we're handling the connections. That could be the issue. Because we're using one connection, that means that it might just not do anything else because we're not reusing the connection. So we could reformat. Do we want to reformat? We could read all of it format. So let's try that. Yeah, I think that's the main issue. It's like we're not saving our, since we're not reusing the connection. When we get something else, when we say our second connections, we only handle that one connection. But if we continue getting more information from that server, we're not handling it. So we might have to figure out how to update our server, our Mac server, to be able to. Right now, the way it's set up, it just handles one connection. Sorry, it just handles one request. I don't want to discard it. I want to send it back to the client. So that's kind of what is happening here. So that's why I'm using copy. So the issue now is like so the main issue is that our server is only listening for one connection. Sorry, yeah, it has one connection and then handle. So we're not handling multiple requests. That's kind of the main issue here. So like if our client sends us multiple requests, we will not handle it correctly. So we want to be able to close this connection. Maybe let's try closing it and see if that helps. But I'm not sure if that will help. I think we just might have to read constantly from that client. So this one is just like handle one connection, the return that is. In this case, we want our connection is a long living connection, so we should be expecting more. Can we read from it again? So oh, I know what. I'm just gonna go into the GitHub repo and look at how they handle connections from some of the standard libraries. So we are using connect. So this is kind of like the sample that they have, but the idea is it closes the connection right away. We want a connection that just sticks around longer. So we might have like something that just constantly writes to it. So we might have to keep reading from it. So we might have to read from it constantly. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's just an example of how to use a listener So we're using a listener, and then how to use a listener to keep the connection. So that's kind of what we're looking for. So this is writing, flushing the headers. This is writing to it, so flush. File copy and this one too. So I'm looking for a way for us to read. So right now, the way that this is working, it only handles one request. We could write to it. We're writing to it multiple times. We're writing multiple times to the server, but we're not reading multiple times from it. So we need to have a way for us to check when we write multiple times to this connection. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for a way for us. I know it's like we could use like a for loop. We could use a for loop to make sure that we are constantly reading from it. So like, there's okay. Yeah, so we could just use a for loop to continually listen to it and see if there's any new messages. So it's pretty much the reading side of it. So the issue that I'm having is like, I need to figure out how to handle the reading multiple requests from it. For more context, I'm only getting one response back from the Mac server. I'm supposed to get 4. So that's kind of what I need to look into. But so and the goal is to look into the standard library to see how they're doing it. So it's something to do with the Mac server that we're using. So that's kind of why I'm looking into this. Ooh. Okay, so I might just pick a protocol that I know and look at it. So this is a client that they have a server. Oh. So this kind of will give me that information. So I just need to figure out how to read consonant messages from it. So when we get a connection, so this is serving it. So it gets a connection, new connection. So it creates a new connection, initializes it, and then turns that new connection. And it calls something called serve. That's what I'm doing. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. But the main issue is like my server that I made. it's not the connection itself. So I just use the example that they have. Oops. So the example that they have is just this is pretty much what they have in the sample, and then you close the connection. The issue is like I shouldn't close the connection because there's gonna be more requests, and then I have to figure out. I have to like just keep waiting for more data, right? So like right now, if we write more to it, it's just sending it once. We're gonna write to it multiple times. So copy might not be the one that I want to hear. I might want to stream it. So that might be a better way to do it. So let's see. So yeah, that's kind of the missing part. The missing part that I'm having right now is like I'm able to only handle one message, but in reality I'm getting 5 messages. So I need to figure out a way to stream. I need to figure out how to stream in constantly write for the stream. So this is kind of what I got from it, but it's not really what the client is writing more. Let's just keep looking at this. I want to see how the server works. Yep, I'm doing that too. So I am accepting a connection. I have a connection, but now the connection is writing like 4 times. Okay, we could try that. You could just stick it to a for loop. But how do we know it ended? So that's kind of the other issue. Is like I don't know when to end the connection. So yeah, so like this kind of makes sense. But the main issue is like I don't know how to. I have to tell when it ends, when the client is not sending anymore, or when the client sends something new. Oh, wait, yeah. So, oh, I see. Yeah, we could use this. So here. We are gonna do, and it also returns this, so we have 2. How to look? Oh, it's not included. So, I'm gonna use copy data, and where's buff? Okay. So it's been on out here. Then we need to stop using this. Okay. Right. In our case, we have to read 2 line. There is 2 of them, so. Okay, so I don't want to use that one. I want to use this one here. When you read line, which already does it for us. So read line has that information already. Okay, cool. And read line returns. Wait. What is the difference between perfect? Most colors you use, or yeah, we shouldn't use this directly. Let's see if this one works. And we do if cool. I think this got me to where I wanted. Thank you so much. This is what I was looking for. And then for connection, we can just write to f print. Just print it. So we're gonna write directly to, we are gonna pass our connection and then the data. Okay, so we could try that out. Which is good. But it's expecting me to am I closing the connection somewhere? So it's still only giving me one line, so it might be something else that I'm doing weird. Okay. So now we are closing the connection. The connection is being closed here, which is fine. We're still getting one line, so we just need to figure out where the other one lines are happening. And this is how it's supposed to look. So maybe it's already in a loop. It's already in a loop, so it's already doing that. That might also be the case where something like right, so we're not getting that error, but we're only still getting one message, so it might be something to do with our parser. So back in here. Okay, so we are now getting we're only getting 3 messages here. So we just need to figure out now why is it. So let's see. So I'm expecting 4 messages. So it might be that we're not listening on time either. I might just drop the test for now and just hook it into our main file and see if it works directly to the Twitch client. I think I'm going to do that because right now it's just taking a bit longer to get the test server to work correctly. So we can just hook it to our main server and see how it behaves. And then I could go back and just look at the test. Which file? The Mac server? So it might also be something to do with my channels. So this is how it looks. So I think it's something to do with this channel too. But I don't want to deal with this right now. So I'm just gonna leave it. And there is one change that I did that I should change back. That here. Okay. I want to go to our main file. And we are just gonna start using our commands. For the error, then the for loop will just run forever now. There is no way to get out of it. Even if the connection is closed, we won't be able to close the connection. The error is not being triggered anymore either. So like the copying is working correctly, but I'm not sure. So I'm just gonna move on from there. I think I'm spending a bit too much time trying to get the testing working, which is something I could just figure out later. For now, it would be nice just to get the server itself working. So I'm just gonna hook it up with our what we have already working. Okay. So what we need to update our configuration file. Okay. And how did I run a sample? So close this. Open. So I had an example of how the configuration will look like. I just have to go back there. Here we go. Okay, so this is how I want the tests to look. Sorry, the commands to look like. Right now, it's nothing in there, so we could just start a fake client. So I'm gonna do commands, command, or just command. TMD equals commands.new, and in here we have to pass our chat client, and then I'm gonna pass a commands.conf is currently just empty. And then we are gonna do under commands. Okay, so that should work. We should turn this off because we don't think it's gonna fight each other. Okay, and then if we go back here, oops, that's this one's the one I turn off too. So if I go here and I run it, then if we type a command, it works. We're not sending anything back. I am sending anything back. So we are parsing our message here. Wait, let's just make sure that this works correctly. And again, it's not triggering it correctly, so maybe this is not is it has not save it. Oh, I thought I saved it. What did I do here? So I saved it. Most like I did not. No, I did. Those handle commands. Maybe we should make it print something here. So print. Do that. And then here we are just gonna run this again. Okay, so it's connected to this chat server. And this is running. Let's see. So this is running. If you shut it down, it's gonna shut down, which we need to handle. So okay, so we're handling that. Then with respect to message, we should see that message here. S is going somewhere else. Yeah, so we could try that again. Sure. See this coming from, but I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, that's what we're getting. I believe, but it might be somewhere else. I think I have too many print statements, so let's just get rid of some of these print statements because I don't know which one is the one triggering it. So this is the one that is triggering it, I think. Yeah, let's just get rid of these ones because we don't need them. I should be just mindful, just not leaving them behind. Not the one I want. So these are fine. This is what I'm gonna get rid of for now. Yeah. Okay. I think that's the one that was causing the issue. So I think I know the issue. I think the issue is like I'm reusing a channel when I shouldn't be reusing it. There should be only one channel being used by this. So what I will have to do is add a way for us to handle the caller, whoever's calling our chat client. So right now our chat client has only one channel that is sending messages to. So we have this on message. But I think since I'm using it in two places, so I'm reading from it here, and I'm also reading from it in here. I think a channel could only be read from one place, which in this case is why they're conflicting with each other. So I could try that again, but I think that's kind of the bulk of the social media. Just like be able to append multiple channels. Yeah, so that's kind of the issue. So that one place wouldn't work. Okay, so let's do that. So the way this will work out is we need to update our client to now, instead of having so that will be the issue. Okay, so we are going to change this a bit here. So instead of on message being a channel, now it's going to be messages, and it's going to be an array. Wait. So we're going to use an array, and then we're going to keep that array. Okay, so yeah, we are going to make this into a private field. We're going to change this, and we are just going to make So now the question that I have for myself is two things. Do we add a function? We're gonna have to fix that, but for now, this is where we're gonna be doing it. Okay. So here we are creating a slice with a cap of 100. Okay. Just a number. It just a cap, so it could be 10 too, or 5. So on message. So here, instead of doing that, we are gonna just loop through this, and we're gonna loop through find that on message, and we are gonna write to each channel. So in our case, it just be C, but I'm using that, so I'm gonna call it just channel. So we are gonna write to those channels. If this was being used in production, this will be a breaking change because I'm changing on message to be something else. Unless I create my own version of it. Stop. Okay, so we now have a way for us to we're gonna write to all the channels that we have. Probably need to add a new method to add channels to it. It was before, so there it was on message before, so you could see it in this, close that, this back once. So here it was just using it directly. For now, I think I want to block because I want to make sure that anyone is listening to it. Okay. So Now we have to have a way to append channels to our own channel. The way this will work is that we are gonna just return a channel. Oops. Channel. Turn that the color, and then we're gonna append it. So we're gonna do and channel. Okay, so message listener, and here we just need to do message channel chat client dot message center. Yeah, I did. That's pretty much what I did. Yeah. Cool. I'm not using a map. I'm using an array. So maybe here I might need a lack. So let's see if I have one. Okay. And here we are just gonna listen for this message. It's just not wanted. Channel. I think my autocomplete tools. Okay, so we now have a way for us to listen for messages, and we could just call the message listener, which we could do here too. Every time we call that function, it's gonna give us a channel, and we could just reuse that channel. We could reuse that channel to be able to just add a new channel. So we have a channel, and we could just use this channel right here. Okay. So that will probably do it. Okay, let's see if that worked. Statement. So you have a bunch of print statements I have to get rid of. So okay, so that's one is coming from our command. I really it is. Okay, what didn't it? So Oh, it did work. Cool. So that works correctly. And we have the two channels working together. Okay, cool. So now we want to see if this one works. The one that is dynamically adding commands. So we could try that out. So we are gonna create a new one. Okay, so that is kind of how it works. So it's gonna complain that it doesn't know the command that you typed. Otter food. I hope that's correct. Thank you so much for the follow. So it's because it's searching inside of a map. So if the key is gonna just find the first exclamation point, and then it's gonna use commands space exclamation point commands inside of the array, and it's gonna be like, I don't know what to do with this. It's not part of the map, so it wouldn't work. Okay, so that I need to look at that structure again. Okay, so I kind of knew this already, but was totally forgot. But a channel is now, you cannot broadcast to a channel, so that means that you could only have one receiver. What we ended up doing for our client was we ended up, oh sorry, for our client. Yeah, it's for our client. We ended up changing it, so now you have a message listener method that is attached to the client structure, which returns back a channel, and then you could use a channel to listen for events, for messages. What that message listener is doing is just creating a channel, and then is adding it to a slice that we have, and then returns that channel that we just created, which the user, the caller could use. And then inside of our, when we receive a private message, we have a range, we have a loop that just goes through every single channel on message. So it's gonna loop through the slice, and then just gonna take all the channels out of it, and then just put the message into the, sorry, it's gonna send the message. So that fixed some of the weirdness that we had, which is very helpful. Cool. See ya. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, so now the next thing we have to do, we need to make sure that our configuration file works correctly. Okay, so, and I wanted to look at our sample file. Okay, so we still have our Twitch files getting huge, but we now have a session for bot, which is just gonna be bot JSON okay. Then we are gonna create an struct, which is gonna hold our information. And then in here we have commands, which we have inside of commands that big. And let's open that one. So here we are just gonna do commands. Yeah, it's just a map. Okay. Cool. And then commands. Okay, so now we have the commands. And I have to update my local file. So we could. I have a new. I'm using a second editor just so I don't put some keys in here. Now the only issue is that I don't know how to use that editor because I'm just trying to decay myself out of it. Okay, so I can just copy this thing here. And then I'm gonna bring it here. Okay. Cool. I also have to make sure that it's valid, so I'm gonna do that. And we already have a command there, so we could try it out. Let's see. Okay, that works correctly. Add all this back. Save it. Cool. Save this here as well. Back here. Okay, so here we could test this out. And we can make sure that we have the right information. So we want to do print our configuration, well, a part of it. So we have conf that wish that. See what that has. Oh, it's already running, so it would just turn an error. So we have an empty map, so for some reason our configuration is not being picked up correctly. So check why. I think I know why. I think I messed up the naming. No. It's empty. So maybe I should just print the whole more than just the first part. Let's just print it. So let's print this thing here. That one's empty too. Let me add some. What am I missing? So we have Twitch struct. Oh. Then we have our bot section. Then we have commands. Maybe I should add. Let me add something else here, which we already have. We have. So this is something that I was trying out, so we could just have it here. JSON. think I'm just doing something extremely weird. And that's why it's not liking it. Okay, so that one's working. It's just the map itself. Well, it's not parsing the map. Let's see the name on the map. Oh, I know why. Because it's double nested. So we could just embed it. So let's try that. So you end up closing too much. But the issue that's happening is because the issue that is happening is that config has a it's like config and then commands, and I have where it's just if I do this way, it would just not work correctly. So one thing I could just do is just embed it. So I could take this config here and I could just embed it. So what I'm doing now is I'm embedding the structure type of commands config, and then let's see what happens. Yeah, that fixed it. Wait, I wasn't watching. Sorry. I'm just gonna do one, and then refund you the other one. Okay. Thank you for the hydrate. So I will refund you one because you did 2 of them. So I'm just gonna refund you one. So I don't get a notification for it. So if I don't catch it on time. Oh, okay, no worries. Yeah, so I refunded you one. Thank you for the hydrate. Okay, so we now have a map that has the configuration. So we could do is, so now our map is being populated correctly. We have the information that we need. So we have everything that we need here. Which is a command. Okay, we're gonna go back to our main file because our main file is the one that has that information. Okay, so here it's interesting because we could do config.twitch. I think I do config again. See if that works. See if this works. No. Oh, I also messed this up. So still want to get back. So let's see if that worked. Open it. You are welcome. Okay, so triggers opens up. Then if we do okay, and then we do this core. Cool, so that works. So now we're able to add commands dynamically from our configuration file. So we have this configuration file. So this is just an example, but we have a configuration file where we have the message of the command, and then the description, and then the command itself. So I wonder if we could, maybe for the remainder of the stream, we could make it that moderators. So one thing I wanted to add is permissions to our commands. So let's figure out how to add support for that. So if we add support for So I think I started already. So yeah. So let's see if we can figure out how to do permissions. Because it would be cool to do permissions. In this case, it will be like if we're able to have permissions, we could then add commands that are able to add new commands. So it would be like add command, and then something like add, and then moderators or myself could add a command without having to go into the code and add it ourselves. So it will be able to write directly to it. So we could do that. So I don't think we're using any of this right now. Okay, so here we have allow roles, which is the roles that we are going to be allowing for the commands to run. So I'm going to add a new one, which we already had in our all setup. So in our all setup, we had commands. So we had this one here, but it was kind of wanky. Oh yeah, I want to give you guys power to add commands to the bot itself. So if you are a moderator, I want to be able to be like SSP is a moderator, so they could do something like where is it? It's posted. So I want to be able to do this. Something like that. I'm trying to figure it out, but it will be cool if you could do something like that. Where you and then it will add that to the bar itself. So like if someone asks this for like some of my configurations for my editor, and we don't have a command for it, we could add a command for it. I think that would be cool. So that's kind of what we need to do. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. But first I have to add, we had our old command that we don't have in the new bot, which we just have to pour over. And the command itself is just a way to give a shout out. But the issue that happens with this command is that I want to be the only one to use it. So we will have to figure out how to add permissions to the commands. So we could look into it a bit more. So here I have the message itself. So let's just print the message and see what information it contains. I think the message has enough information for us to figure out if the person is going to be able to do it. Oh, ignoring it there. No, let's just not ignore it. Because then we could also check the permissions here. So we could do something like here, this will only print the permissions that the person that is running the command has. Let's see. So it would be cool too. It will be, so the idea will be that also if there's anyone with a VIP command, anyone with VIP as well, we could give them specific commands to it too. Okay, so 4. And maybe tomorrow we will focus on storing our token, because right now the token is being requested. Every time I turn it on and off, like restart it, it's just gonna ask for a token. So maybe the next thing we do is like not ask for the token. Okay, so we have that there. Then if we do I don't think I'm returning. Yeah, I don't think I'm returning a lot of information here. Oh wait, where did I add it? Oh, did I add it? That was a fluke. I didn't save it. I did add it. So okay, so that's what it's printing. Okay, so I don't think I have enough information here to make that decision. So I think I'm just adding, as part of the badges, I'm just adding some random stuff. Okay, so let's try that again. And it's in here. Oh, I think title has it. Okay, so we could do it based on title. So I think the title says what is the badge that the person has. Okay, so it does. We could turn them into lowercase when we're checking them. Okay, so that is helpful. So we are going to create a new command for shoutout. So available commands. Okay, and this returns a command. So shoutout is the one that is gonna be used for to replace other command that we had in place. So let's see. Then we are just gonna return a command. And this command has a description. Okay, and then allow roles. I want to be the only one that does this command, so we're gonna do broadcaster. It's gonna be lowercase. So we are gonna make everything lowercase as we point in these things. Okay. And then here we have action, which is a function that we're going to be using, which is the action that we're going to be taking when that command gets sent to us. And we're going to return no. Okay, so go back here. We have where is it? Oh. commands, and then just want to take this one here. Here I kind of cheated. I just hard-coded my name, and that's how it didn't work. It was how it used to work. But now what we need to do is just make it that it just follows the standards that we created, right? So at the end is we want to be able to send this message here. So this is a shout out message we're gonna send. And then we are gonna use our client. Oh, I see. So we're just gonna do our client send message and shout out. Okay, so here we are going to create a new function that checks for permission. So we're going to do we know our permissions? We do not know our permissions. Why don't we know our permissions? Oh, they're not being passed correctly to the function. So we are going to have to do something like permissions. And it's going to be so we're gonna have to update our function and add a way for us to pass the permissions too. But I want to add a helpful function that allows function that allows to just do like has permission or has whatever, and it returns true or false. So I'm gonna just create a type alias for our array. So I'm gonna do allow roles, and I'm just gonna create a string, something like this. So this allows me to create a alias type that is type array. It's an array of strings. But then the cool part about it is that I could add a function, a method to it. So I could do something like okay. So that is what we need to do. And then here we are going to do return false. Then we're going to look through all the roles. So okay, so here we are going to return if allow equals role, then we're going to return true. If not, we're going to return false. Okay, so and the change we're going to do here is instead of taking permissions, we're going to change this to allow roles, and it's just going to take a allow role type. Cool. So now we just have to update every single place that is using here. Allow. And here we are going to take permission. So what did I call that on top? Allow roles. So we saying allow roles, and it's just a type of roles. Okay, same here. We just need to change this a bit. Roles. Okay, so first we're gonna check if we have something called titles. Don't flip a table. Thank you for that. I'm trying to kind of hard. It's hard to walk through the process because again, it's a process. So it's easier for me to just be like, I don't want to do this, or it's hard not to get stuck in like trying to make it perfect. So for now, I'm just trying to make it work. And then when we get it to work, I will then jump in to clean it up afterwards. But I'm glad I'm working through it. I look calmly working through this. Okay. What did I think I deleted it. So message has 4. Message that badges, and then each one of them have a title. So the v streams that lower, and so I'm turning it back to lowercase. So we're gonna take the title. So I'm taking the title of the badges. So we are going to be managing permissions based on the title. So the title, the badge is in our case is broadcaster. So that's what kind of what we're going to be doing, taking. And in the case of SSP is moderator. So I'll take that. Then I'm going to say permission, which is goes to false, so we don't have permission. And then here I'm gonna say if b if b is in allow roles that pass. So if b is in here, we are just gonna do pass permission equals true. So that means that the person that ran the command has permission, and then we are going to return we're going to return, so we're going to break here, and then here we could just do if so if the person that has no permission, we are just going to return this message here. Copy the whole. And then we're going to return. So that will give us, so if the person doesn't have permission, we are just gonna print this out into the console. We're not gonna tell that back to the user. So whoever made that call, we will not tell them that they don't have permission. And then message has a display name. So then here we're just gonna return, oh wait, no, this is good. So we can just return this as an error. So return error. Okay, so we can do that. I'm gonna return that error there. And then this is where it becomes a bit tricky because we have to parse message. So the message itself, how is this work? I think we're kind of just parsing. Yeah, I think we're just kind of just parsing the message and then split it in. So parse. Now join. What we want is okay. So we're splitting the message into chunks. Okay, so we could do the same here. So I just is attached from my terminal, so that's what it was. Okay, so it's cool. So we have message itself, which we could go here, and we're gonna split it here. So we could turn some of these things into a more useful state later. So here we have message. Okay, and then we are gonna go through like different. So we parse the message. Oh, I see. So if someone's just we care about so message args. So args is just oh, I'm just gonna ignore it. So here, if length, so we want to check the size of it. So what we're parsing for is something like and then so that's kind of what we're going to be parsing for. So here we are looking to see that this is equal to 2. So we have the command and then we have the username. And if there's an error, we are going to return the same error we had here, which is, and we are definitely sending this back to the client. So in this case, we are just going to return and end the error because we are letting the user know that happened. And we're doing client send message saying user. Okay, so we are sending that back to the client. So we don't need this because that's what I just finished implementing. And then the next one is if the person is missing that information. So now that we have the user, so we get the user name equals that one. why. Oh, I see. Okay. Equals 1 here. So plus, I'm gonna end up refactoring this a bit more, like to make it reusable, because some of this logic will be used in other places, right? We could be like, this command needs 4 or 5 different things. And then here we are gonna also again take this here. In this case, this happens when if the add symbol is not included. So send message, and we're going to return. I think that's the last check we need. Okay, so that's the last check we need. And then we could take this here, tap this, then we restart it, and it's gonna fail. Okay, I know which one is missing. It's the one here. Action. For now, we are not going to have permissions to be handled here. But we can in the future. We can start using it in the future. So I'm ignoring that argument. Okay. So now if I go here and I do that didn't work. Okay, so let's figure out why. I might not be right. Oh, I am not handling errors here. Okay, so I was not handling errors correctly there. So if there was an error, it would just not do anything. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay, invalid command. Cool, so we know that works. The reason why that's an invalid command was I never added it. So available command. Maybe we still probably return that back to the caller. Let's be like, this is not a valid command. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm gonna do next. So it's just like if there's any like invalid command, we should tell back to whoever sent the message. Because that would be helpful. Okay, let's try that again. So oh, we didn't currently. We are just taking the whole thing. We're not doing any parsing on the commands themselves. So it's just passing the whole command. So we need to fix that too. Parse message. And this is not right. So parse message has 2 parts. This is where it becomes a bit repetitive, and we should figure out how to handle that. Only the first part is the command. So parse Okay, so this is kind of how it should look like. This, I'm gonna have to make sure that it's safe, but now we should be able to do it. Okay, so that's working. And now we're missing information. So let's see why we're missing information. So it would have been easier if we got the test working, but it's better this way. Okay, so we're passing this part. Oh, this is wrong. Missing username. What was the error that it gave us? Okay, so it's missing the username because why is it missing? It's a length. Okay, just write that again. Oh, it's 2. Oh, I have to. Not strong. That's 2. Wait, but I got a 2. So 2, 2. Missing username sample. Okay. I see. I see what the check was doing. So the check is checking if we only have one param, it works. Okay, that was my mistake. Now we run it again. We run our command. Sorry for spamming me, USSB. Okay, there you go. That works. Cool. So now, how do we test the other one? Okay, so I'm gonna have to log into the Butter account itself, send a message. Then, oh wait, SSP. Can you try that command? Can you do exclamation point? Can you do exclamation SO and then my name at Miguel Code TV? You need a space. You need a space between the O and the at symbol. Yeah, give it another try and just add this space. Okay, so if we go back here, okay, yeah, so it says user is not allowed to use command. So we now have permissions working correctly. So we have permissions working correctly. That means that we are now able to add new commands that only a certain group of people have access to. Wait, SSP, can you do something else for me? Can you give me a second? Can you run the command again? Can you try that same command again? I want to see what titles you have, like what badges you have. So yeah, try it again. Thank you. Okay, so you have moderator, founder, and Prime Gaming. So if I add this one here, okay, can you do it one more time? This is the last time I want to ask you to, but can you do it one more time? So I added you to the I added moderator to the list of people that have access to that command. So now if you run the command, you should be able to see it come up on your screen. I mean, you should see the URL now. Okay, yeah. So the permission itself, so we now have permissions working. Since you're a moderator, you have for now permissions to use that command. Okay, cool. I think this puts us in a good spot for today. So we are gonna raid someone. We're gonna raid Anthony. He's always very nice to raid. So let's just I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow, so we can work on some other stuff as well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Stick around, say hi to Anthony while we raid him. Give me a sec. Yeah, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. And thank you to our new follower for following. I will see you guys tomorrow.